we really need to stop making excuses. Making excuses will never get you ahead. And that's one of the things that will just continue to plague our community, plague our people until we stop doing it. Because it's not beneficial. It'll never help you. It'll never be a situation to where, it's helpful in some cases. No, making excuses will never be a thing that's helpful in some cases. It will always plague you. And we see that a prime example of that when it comes to Antonio Brown. It's crazy how no matter what this guy does, no matter what happens, there will always be those out there, no matter what he does and where he's clearly at fault, there will always be those out there who look at Antonio Brown as some type of victim, as if he is the one that's being wronged. We saw what he did during the football game Sunday against the Jets in New York. And it's really a sad situation when you see a guy like Mike Evans trying to calm him down, trying to get him to, basically telling him, this ain't the right move, this ain't the way to go about it. I don't know what Mike Evans was saying, but if I was there, I'd be telling him, if you feel this way, man, just go to the locker room. The thing that's irritating about it, the first thing people want to point to, always try to point to, is they were trying to do this to him. They were trying to do that. It doesn't matter what they were trying to do. That doesn't mean you go off the rails and just do something like what he did. It's like, let's take the Mason Rudolph, Myles Garrett situation from last season. I believe it was last season. I think it was 2019. But let's take that as an example. You had Myles Garrett completely go off hinges, rips off Mason Rudolph's helmet, and hits the guy in the head with the helmet. An unwritten rule. In baseball, you don't charge at nobody with a bat at the mound or just anybody. Unwritten rule. That's just something you don't do. He hit the guy with the helmet. Afterwards, he says that Mason Rudolph said something racist to him. That was never proven to be true. Me personally, I don't think it's true. But my thing was on that, if it were true, why would you do that? Because you lose when you do that. All you had to do was go, if he said something racist, go up to Mike Tomlin, who's a black coach for the Steelers, go up to the black players and be like, hey, your boy said this, blah, 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 racist, black racist. He said this and that and that. There was no reason for you to go off the hinges and just hit the dude with the helmet when you could have just went to the press conference and said, this is what happened. And the same thing with Antonio Brown. He should not have reacted that way if he felt a type of way. He had the rest of that game, the fourth quarter, and he had the next game against Carolina, who is a bad team that he could have definitely gotten his numbers on. And he had that game remaining to get those numbers if people feel like, they were trying to rob him, they're trying to cheat him out of his money because they know he needs these incentives to get this contract. When it's like, dude, Antonio Brown is a guy with a track record. And honestly, man, when I think about the AB situation, to me, Antonio Brown has not been the same since that hit that was laid on him by Vontaze Buford. I believe Buford is his name. And it was a 2016 wild card game. We've seen Antonio Brown throw stuff out of his window from like the top floor or something like that, throwing TVs that almost hit someone and could have killed someone. The most egregious thing I seen Antonio Brown do was something was going on with him and his children, mother, his daughter, and his little son, both his little children, and the police had to come out. And the reason I know this is because we all saw this on Instagram Live or on social media. The police are out there, he's recording, his son is right there, and his daughter's right there, and he's disrespecting the mother of his children, calling them out of their names, calling her out of her name. B, she broke. B, she can't do this. This B, a bum. And it's like, This is how this man is talking to the mother of his children while his children are present. It's bad enough to do it in general, but that's something you put on the internet that your son and your daughter would grow up seeing. This is how you treated their mom. And who knows how your kids process things. They're sitting there and they're learning things. And sometimes they're not always learning positive things. They grow up and learning what they knew, what they were taught. And in that moment, what that boy and what that girl was being taught was you calling their mom a B and just totally disrespecting her, regardless of the situation. That's the thing. People will say, oh, but you don't know what she did. That gives you no right. Whatever Tampa Bay did or was trying to do, if they had an agenda, it gives Antonio Brown no right to act the way that he did, because it just continues to paint a narrative about black people that we don't have self-control. This is how we do. We lash out when we don't get our way instead of being the professionals about it, because when you tell them to be professional about it, they'll say, oh, you acting white. They'll paint that as that's the white way to act, as if white people are the standard on how to act. They look at us like, oh, you acting like a white boy. You acting like a white person, talking about talking it out and going to go discuss it with somebody face to face. Antonio Brown did his thing, and he doing this, waving peace, doing jumping jacks, and it's the most embarrassing thing to see. You got Coach Prime saying, man, please God, tell me I'm not saying what I'm saying. Because he knows what that look is. He knows what that's like. He got all these people record him, and none of these people care about Antonio Brown. None of those people. The people who are memeing him, they're recording you at the stadium because they're going to get some views on their video. They can care less about Antonio Brown. They just see a dude acting a fool, running with his shirt off on the football field at work. He's at work. No matter how you slice it, yeah, we look at it because it's something we see on television, and you looking like, man, this looks so fun. It's not a job. Like it you know what I'm trying to say? We don't perceive it as work, some of us, but he's at work. He's earning a paycheck, and he took off his jersey at work while he was working and proceeded to do what he did. And people are painting this as if this guy is some victim. If Antonio Brown needs help, he is fully aware that he needs help, because there's no way he can be on a football field knowing how to comprehend catching passes and catch touchdowns and celebrate dancing and not knowing that I need help. And instead, every time things like this happen, we want to look at somebody else as if that's going to be the solution, just blaming somebody else when we can't look in the mirror, when we know that we have to look in the mirror at ourselves first. Antonio Brown was in control of that situation. He could have been in control of that situation. Do your job. If the coach tell you to stay on the sideline, stay on the sideline. You still getting paid. You have a track record, a major track record. You proved that you didn't want to be a Steeler. You showed that you didn't want to be a Raider. You showed you didn't want to be a Patriot. And then you got a chance with the Bucks. Tom Brady helped you out. And look, when I put it like that, people are going to be like, oh, look, you trying to make it look like he's just a little black man who needed help from Tom Brady. No, Tom Brady helped him out, got him the job, because Antonio Brown would not have been a Buccaneer had it not been for Tom Brady. And I'm not trying to paint this as if Tom Brady's the great savior of Antonio Brown. Well, in this case, he helped him out. That's what it was. And in return, AB helped out Tom Brady by winning the Super Bowl. AB let his team down. He let his team down because they needed him. AB is the type of guy to where when he knows that you need him, he gonna take advantage of that, and in the worst way. When someone needs you, you don't look at that and be prideful in that type of situation. Like, yeah, you need me. You look at that as an honor, because it is an honor to be needed by someone, because you want to help someone, because down the line, someone may have to help you. And it's not about, needing the white man for something, the white people this, white people that. It's about controlling what you can control. Not making excuses every time we see this dude or anybody in our community lash out like that. Make it, just continuing. This is the same guy who was on The Shop years back saying that Shannon Sharp, was the C word, Uncle Tommen, because he be bringing Hennessy and Black and Miles and stuff on the show. And he said that's Shannon Sharpe's stereotyping, giving us a bad name, something above those along those lines. Well, what do you think you're doing, AB, when you take your shirt off in the middle of work while you have a game, take your jersey off and take your shirt off, throwing it in the crowd and just doing jumping jacks as you leave like I'm out of this mug? Like, how do you think that make us look? What do you think we are being perceived as when you do something like that? You perpetuate the exact same things you try to throw on somebody else. It's a bad look for us as a whole. This is not just a you thing. This makes us all look bad because it just continues to paint a negative light on our people, and our people are not that. We are the leaders of this earth. But people like you and your antics continue to put us in a position to where we look like we're what they try to portray us to be on television, in the movies, on shows and things like that. So let's stop making excuses for when our people do stuff like this. And when you do things like this in general, let's hold yourself accountable. Look at yourself first. You have to look at yourself and examine yourself first. It starts in the mirror. Something happened and you look at it like and you believe that you're not at fault. Examine that first and see if you're at fault and get it out the way, and then take the next steps to try and better the situation. You can't just be at work and just lash out every time something go wrong. Do your job, pray on it, meditate on it, pray on it, and ask for answers from the Most High. But just coming in yelling like somebody owe you something, that ain't gonna never get you nothing and nowhere. It just makes you look bad because it shows that you can't communicate. So we just got to do better, man. Seeing what happened with Antonio Brown is no laughing matter. Of course, people on the internet is gonna meme it. You can't control what people are going to say online. That's just the world we live in. That is the world we live in. We don't have to accept it, but we just have to know that this is what's happening. So we just got to do better, man. We have to do better. Quit blaming. Self-examine first. Even if you're right about a situation, that doesn't give you the right to go brag about being right. Yeah, see, I knew I wasn't at fault, and I knew it was on you. Nah, talk to that person if it's a situation like that. Like the Bible says, you may gain a brother or a sister. We just got to be better. That's all.